Welcome back to another video. Today we'll give away some macros I made over the past year and explain how to use them. In the drive I linked, you will find two files. The Lua file is to install the macros in your macro folder, so you can access them via the Shift spacebar menu, this one here. And the DRFX file will install them in your effects library on the edit page. To install the Lua file, you have to drag it into Fusion where your nodes are. And for the DRFX file, a double click will be enough. Now I will get into explaining each tool in alphabetic order. The align tool will simply align, that's what it says, because fiddling around with stuff just to get it perfectly, it can be hard. All you have to do is click this big button here, click the called click first, and then you can just put it wherever you want. If you, for example, change it, you see it's not going to be aligned anymore. That's when you need to hit the button again. The color noise is just a fast noise, but RGB. It has all the fast noise controls, but also RGB balance controls and apply mode and blend. Extract is just a double-sided blue mark here. You can choose the channel. And you have a black and white point control, but also a softness. And of course you can invert the matte and also view the matte. The long shadow has a length, angle, blur and strength control, and of course a color. The posterize time simply changes your frame rate for the clip or whatever you have applied to it, or animation for example. So right now we have a 30 FPS clip here, and we can of course turn it down to like 10 FPS. If you have viewed, now you see it's gonna be readjusted to 10 FPS. You can even go down to 2. And see, it's still gonna work. Just one thing, you shouldn't apply it on adjustment clips. Well, not the macro version of it, because time nodes in adjustment clips don't work properly. They're gonna glitch out. Same is gonna apply to the time slice later on. The scale up stretches along an axis of your choice. But here the start point is basically the pivot and the end point the direction. And of course you can stretch it even more depending on the length, so the difference between the start and end. You have to fiddle around with the displacer amount, because at some points it's basically gonna wrap back like this. So just make that you just have to adjust the number, and of course edges as well of your choice. So skew will simply skew your image, but on an angle of your choice. You of course have edges of your choice again, and this is one of the only, I think the only thing that has motion blur, so you can do your fancy skew shakes. When you first add the tapered line, you're gonna notice the path is gray. To fix it, you just go up here into your toolbar and choose this mouse cursor with the plus, and if you want to add additional points, you just go with this, or you can just delete everything and just draw it from scratch. Here you have a length and a stroke width. You're gonna see the stroke width also increases the length, so you just have to dial it back. They kind of work together. And of course a position and path to animate it. And then on the second tab we have the style. You can choose if you want one end or no end. By the way, they don't properly update in the preview, so you have to purge your cache. Then it will be fine. Let me see, it's not gonna flicker again. When you're switching to the two ends, it's gonna work fine. On the one end, by the way, you can swap it by typing it amount of 180 or 0. And of course you have an outline and solid. Those two I don't really recommend, they're just so thin. Yeah, you're not gonna get anything with that. Just a prep tool. On the third tab, is the color. This is not just a gradient on the image, it's a gradient along the path. If you don't need that, you can just have one color here, and now it's going to be one solid color. Of course, you can readjust it, and you have all of those settings. On the fourth tab, you have just some fixes. If something doesn't look right, you can kind of mess with them to see what they're each doing. But when you need them, you're probably gonna know what to do. The time warp RGB is gonna offset each channel in time. So if we can shift it around each channel. This effect probably works best just with a small amount, like 1 frame. And you can also dial back the blend to make it even more subtle. The toner is gonna map colors based on the channel you choose. So here I have built-in presets. So this one would be a duotone or /tint, tritone, Pentone, and solid color. I'm a description here to let you know. And you have stuff like repeat count. You can up this, so 5 repeats. You're gonna see it's gonna blur out because our repeat mode is set to 1, so just choose it. A speed, which only gets enabled when you click this animate button, so it's gonna auto animate. And of course a phase shift, so you can readjust it for yourself. And a blend slider. The unmelt is going to map the luminance values to the alpha channel. This is probably going to be the best use case for like smoke overlays or something, or just to remove black in general. Yeah, you just have a tick box here to disable and enable it. So the Displacer Pro is like the Displace node, but it has more options, like an angle displace, like here. And it has a pivot, of course, but also XY size, not just one size. If you ever need it, of course. You have all of those controls here to change what it uses to displace. The normal button just makes it so it displaces in both directions. You can also connect a custom input to it. Now we're displacing based on this gradient. You can of course blur it, for example. And here's the normalness, it's just gonna do both directions. And at the bottom you have your chromatic aberration. Those are multipliers of the transform properties. The time slice is just what it says. It's gonna slice the time. You can choose a slice amount. It maxes out at 12. At the top you can also choose the gradient type. So for example radial, or from the middle out. Make less slices. Oops, a bit more. Now you're gonna see you have all the slices, and of course you can choose a custom gradient. If you connect the same image, for example, it's also gonna work. Of course you can connect something else to it as well. And I also added a softness slider to kind of hide the seams. It's just basically a blending. Just you're gonna see it kind of if it's too high. So just make it like subtle, so you can't see the seams as much. So the last effect on our list is the Waveflop. You can control the frequency of the waves, the wave height, and of course the wave angle, which the waviness node can't. And of course the phase and phase speed. And edges of your choice. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and like it, and see you next time.